The Newsday continues here on One News Now. I'm Denise Dan. The two Filipinos still missing in Israel could now be in the hands of militant group Hamas. Speaking to 1PH sa totoo lang, Foreign Affairs Undersecretary Ed De Vegas said they're still trying to locate the OFWs. He added that reports of Hamas releasing hostages give them hope that the two Filipinos will surface soon.
Look at it na hindi pa sila ma-declare na namatay. May apat tayong confirmed dead, hindi 6, no, hindi dumami. Tsaka actually hindi natin alam talaga kung nasaan sila, pero we can consider na maaaring kasama sila sa mga bihag ngayon. Kaya itong pagpapakawala ng mga bihag, apat na yung hostages na pinakawalan na gives us hope, no? Na kung kasama man yung ating dalawang kababayan, ay buhay pa sila at maaring makamit nila yung kalayaan.
Meanwhile, 136 Filipinos are still awaiting evacuation from the Gaza Strip to Egypt as the Rafah border remains closed. De Vera said they're hoping that the border will be opened within the week. He added only a small number of stranded citizens are full-blooded Pinoys.
May I clarify yung 136 Filipino citizens. Hindi yan yung pareho sa mga OFW natin na nanggaling sa Pilipinas. Only a few of the citizens are ganun, no? Karamihan yan, mga anak ng Filipina with a Palestinian spouse. Minsan, apo ng Filipina. So, 1/4 Filipino lang yun, 3/4 Palestinian, yung lahi. So, they happen to be Filipino citizens by operation of law.
Palestinian ambassador to the Philippines, Saleh Mohammed, believes Israel has no intention of ending the war. That's even if Hamas releases all its captives. Earlier, the United States said it's not time for a ceasefire yet as the militant group has yet to free hostages. For Mohammed, however, the U.S. is only encouraging Israel's further bombardment of the Gaza Strip, where 5,000 people have already been killed. The envoy adds, Israel cannot say that it is only attacking Gaza to go after Hamas, as the nation is also targeting the West Bank.
Even if Hamas releases all the hostages, they are not going to stop the war. This is a very vindictive, and revenge mentality they have. It's a genocidal, policies they are committing. Actually, the whole, the agony is that while the whole international community is asking Israel to accept the right to Palestinians refugees to return back to their homelands, Israel now is pushing people out of Gaza. They are pushing people, asking people to leave Gaza to Egypt. They are just like pushing their own problem to make it as an Egyptian problem.
Moving on to another story, the Office of the Ombudsman has filed graft and technical malversation charges against former Health Secretary and now Iloilo Representative Janet Garin. This is over the purchase of 3.5 billion pesos worth of dengue vaccine Dengvaxia some years back. The Ombudsman said that Garin and other co-accused in the case had a hand in the realignment of the DOH's budget for the purchase and rollout of the jabs. It also noted that Dengvaxia was not part of the Health Department's expanded immunization program. More stories coming your way after a quick break. Stay with us. You are still watching One News Now. I'm Denise Stan. 33 American states filed a lawsuit against Meta in California. They claim the company violates federal law every time it collects data on children under 13 years old. Here's a report from the Associated Press.
We are suing Meta, the umbrella company for Facebook, Instagram, and other popular platforms for violating federal and state laws, including the following three laws that we're focusing on. The Federal Children's Online Privacy Protection Act, or COPPA, California's Unfair Competition Law, and California's False Advertising Law. We're not bringing a lawsuit based on what might be tomorrow, but we are very conscious, aware, attuned to the changes in technology. We know, thanks to our investigation, as well as disclosures by former insiders, that the company knows the following. Instagram is harmful to a significant percentage of teenagers, especially teen girls. They have research that found that 13.5% of teen girls on Instagram say the platform makes thoughts of suicide and self-injury worse. That 17% say it makes eating issues worse, and 32% say it makes body image worse. Meta has internal warnings that certain key features can push users into harmful content.
Social media and its impact on young people is one of the most important things that I'll work on in my career. Meta is one of the biggest and most powerful companies in the history of the world. They have unfathomable troves of data on their users and others, and they have constantly used the data that they have to refine their products to make them more and more difficult to stop using. They have made, through sophisticated means, Instagram and their other platforms addictive, and they have targeted these platforms at teenagers and at kids. And we all know that teenagers and kids are different. Their brain chemistry is different. They are more vulnerable and more susceptible to this kind of manipulation.
The company knew exactly how these design decisions could and would hook young people to the point of addiction, and yet continued to use them, and in many cases rejected using feasible alternatives that they knew would mitigate harm to our young people. They did all of this with profit in mind, not people, not young users.
Back here at home, here's a glance at today's other top stories. The city of Manila announces its traffic plan for North Cemetery ahead of Undas. Starting 10 p.m. of Tuesday, October 31, a portion of Aurora Boulevard, Dimasalang, and Blumentritt roads will be closed. Other impassable roads include those along P. Guevara, Retiro, and Maceda streets. Motorists are advised to take alternate routes. The Social Security system announces that starting October 20, the maximum amount of funeral benefits will be 60,000 pesos. Under new guidelines, claimants of deceased members with 36 or more monthly contributions will receive between 20 and 60,000 pesos. A fixed amount of 12,000 pesos will be given the kin of dead members who paid at least 1 month but less than 36 monthly contributions. The enhanced benefit shall cover embalming, burial, transfer, and funeral services. The online precint finder is now open, just in time for the barangay and Sangguniang Kabataan elections. Voters may access it at precintfinder.comelec.gov.ph. Voters only need to input their full name, date of birth, and place where they registered to get their assigned polling place and precinct number. Voting for the BSKE is on Monday, October 30 from 7 in the morning up to 3 in the afternoon. In sports, the Akari Chargers pulled all the stops to give the Cherry Tigo Crossovers their first loss in the PVL All-Filipino Conference. Check out how they and other squads did in this report.
F2, combination play for Joel.
The F2 Logistics came into the matchup against the next-led Chameleons, hoping to bounce back from their opening day loss. And the team went right to work early on, and they controlled the majority of the game. With this, they complete a sweep of next-led 25-20, 25-14, and 25-16. Ivy Lacsina was again at the forefront of the attack, notching 19 points at the back of 15 attacks and 4 blocks. Defense was key for F2 in the game as they dominated the Chameleons on the block department 12-1. This is F2's first win of the new conference after an opening day 5-set loss to the Akari Chargers. Next lead is also 1-1 in the tournament. The PLDT high-speed hitters displayed a similar dominant performance against the Farm Fresh Foxies. PLDT endured little to no resistance from the Foxies as they cruised towards victory 25-17, 25-17, and 25-20. Phil Canadian hitter Savannah Davidson top scored for the team again, bringing in 18 markers. PLDT mentor Rald Ricafort noted the improved performance in this game, saying the team has recovered from small lapses it had in its first game. The win is PLDT's second in 3 games, while the Foxies dropped to 0-3.
Jaja tracks down that ball. Nisperos from the back, and she will score.
In the main game, the Akari Chargers showed it can match with big-time teams as they took down the Cherry Tigo Crossovers. With a game tied at 1 set apiece, Akari flashed its brilliance in the ensuing sets. This enabled them to secure a 25-20, 18-25, 25-22, and 25-20 win, and in the process handed out Cherry Tigo's first loss in 3 games. Dindin Manabat delivered a vintage performance, turning in 21 points on the back of 16 attacks, 4 blocks, and an ace. Young sensation Faith Nisperos backstopped her Ate Dindin with 17 markers. The two combined for 9 of the Chargers' 14 blocks in the game. With this, both Akari and Cherry Tigo have identical win-loss records. More PVL All-Filipino Conference action happens this Thursday at the Inares Center in Antipolo. The Jerflor defenders look to barge into the winning column against defending champions Creamline Cool Smashers at 2 p.m. Akari plunges right back into it with a 4 p.m. game against Farm Fresh. And the Signal HD Spikers and Chocomucho Flying Titans race for win number 2 at 6 p.m. Catch those games live on One Sports, One Sports Plus, and the Pilipinas Live app. One News Now will be back at 6 p.m. with the day's latest stories. See you then. I'm Denise Tan. We are One News.